All right, very well. Good evening. My name is Robin, and I am from Necessary Nutrition. I'm a certified nutrition specialist. I like to call myself a strategist because my intention is to help people strategize on nutrition and what will work best for their body. And I'm going on my 11th year in doing that, and so much has changed over all this time. And tonight we're going to talk about the diet dungeon. Which diet will work best for you? And there are many of them. And my intention really is to have you to look at things in such a way that you make a decision that really serves you, opposed to spinning your wheels to figure out what's going to work. So hopefully we can uncover that. And at the end, if there are questions that come up, I would love to make sure that they are addressed. And so we're going to get started. I know that people will be popping on, but I love to start on time and end on time as for respect of everyone's time. So the diet dungeon, which diet will work best for you? Yikes, what have we here? The first thing you want to ask yourself really is, what is your intention? Because that will help you to know as we go through all the different protocols and options, this is where you will start. A lot of times people start with, oh, I'll do this protocol or I'll do this. No, start with your intention. Ask yourself the following questions and then what you're willing to do. So as we go through this, think about this. Is your intent to lose weight and eat? Because that's possible. There's possibility. Some people love to eat, but they want to get pounds off, but they don't want to they want to eat often. So is that your intention? Maybe your intention is to lose weight and you don't like to eat. You don't want to eat a lot, but you still want the pounds to come off. Or you may have a blood pressure challenge. You want to get your blood pressure down or your cholesterol down, stabilize your blood sugar. Is that your intent? What about this? A special event is coming up, someone's wedding, and you just want to look good for that event. Or you're looking at your overall health of prevention. You want to eat to live overall. Increase your energy level. Is that what your desire is? Balance your hormones. Or you're looking for better digestion. What is the intention of you wanting to change the way that you are eating now? And then what are you willing to give up? Because the truth is, you cannot stay the same and change at the same time. So if you're looking to make some changes, you got to figure out what you're willing to do and for how long. Because certain things you can do for a short term. So are you willing to give up sugar? For how long? Meat? How long? Now, do you have to give up meat to get pounds off or to go through all those other things? It depends on, again, what your intentions are. Are you willing to give up just red meat, maybe? Are you willing to give up all carbs, breads, pastas, alcohol, etc., or just some carbs? Like maybe you're just like, I kind of need some carbs in my life. What about dairy? Are you willing to give up dairy? For how long? And that's cheese, milk, yogurt, butter. There's also alternatives. What about processed foods? Any food that's in a box. Willing to give that up? For how long? Now, all of those things are important, but the most important thing is your current mindset in your environment. That is the truth. That no matter what else, you must be willing to change your mindset of what you're thinking, thoughts, and beliefs, which is the hardest thing to change, and then your environment. Also, are you willing to consume 7 or more servings of vegetables daily? That sounds like a lot. What about meal prep? Are you willing to, on the weekends, get your meals together? Are you willing to involve your friends and family in the journey? As you think about these questions and you really decide, okay, no, I don't want to meal prep. I don't want to get my family involved. Or, think about this. Are you willing to exercise consistently? Some people love exercise. Are you willing to drink more water so that your urine is clear? Water is wonderful to flush out toxins and fats out of the body. Are you willing to establish new habits? And for how long? And find a new tribe. There's something to be said about who you spend your time with. All right, so let's go into the popular diets and protocols. Right now, what's super, super popular, the keto diet. So everybody and their mama is doing the keto, right? And so let's talk about keto and just kind of discover this a little bit. So the keto really is a short-term protocol. Low carbs, very, very, very low carbs, and high fat. And the focus for keto really is weight loss. And when you go strictly low carbs, you lower your insulin levels and enter ketosis, which lets the fat cells that are stored burn as fuel. And the keto diet, it's really, really important to drink a lot of water, because cutting out the carbs makes your body need that water and going into your fat storage and all of those things. So if your intention is to do quick weight loss and it's short term, and people want to know, well, how long is short term? That could be a month, that could be 2 months, 6 months. It's generally speaking unsustainable forever. I've known people to do keto for 6 months, and they've worked, 6 months is about maybe even up to a year where they've modified it. But the flip side of keto is that you want to make sure that in doing all of this, that you're not filling your body with too much acid. So when your body is acidic from the inside, from a cellular level, that can bring challenges along the way. But for weight loss, if you're willing to do keto, if you're willing to get carbs out of your life, then for that it does work. As a matter of fact, everything works. Any of the protocols that I'm going to talk about, they work. The question is, how sustainable is it for you, and what is your long-term or short-term intent? So keto works. Paleo includes meats, seafood, vegetables, low carb or low sugar fruits, so bananas wouldn't be on the list, nuts, and healthy oils. It strictly eliminates grains, legumes, dairy, sugars, potatoes, peanuts, and processed foods. So there again, it is giving you certain things, and it's eliminating the grains. Now with the Whole30, it overlaps with paleo, but for 30 days, you eliminate foods that are considered inflammatory and give your body a break and essentially a reset button. So for 30 days, you're eliminating certain foods bit by bit, and then eventually you'll put those foods back, but that gives you the opportunity to see what your body likes and what it does not like. Okay, but still the rest of the time, very limited in carbs. With Weight Watchers is hugely popular. Now with Weight Watchers, you can eat anything, but it has a points value. So if you're gonna eat broccoli, lower points versus ice cream, right? But you can still eat ice cream, you can still eat bread and pizza and pasta or what have you, but your points, you have to be paying attention to your points. So if you like to count, you want to have an app and figure out how many points there's in this, that, and the other, then that may be a system for you as well. So it really depends on your personality. And again, all of them work. It is up to you. But what I know is that if you've been on many diets and it's almost a habitual thing for you, if you've tried Weight Watchers and you've tried this one and you tried that one, it may be a case whereby you have an emotional relationship with food. So hopefully I can come back to that, because that's what I've discovered. Going back to this, the Mediterranean diet emphasizes plant foods, and you're using desserts or fruit as your desserts. You're adding in beans and nuts and whole grains and seeds. Yogurts and cheeses are your main dairy. So the Mediterranean works as well. So if you're a person that, you want to have more carbohydrates and you want to focus on more whole foods, still in this case, plant foods, then the Mediterranean protocol may work for you. Intermittent fasting can go with any of the aforementioned diets. Intermittent fasting requires you to stop eating for a certain amount of time. So you may go 16 hours without eating, and that's usually, or 12 hours without eating, but you are stopping, let's say your last meal is at 8 o'clock. It's usually 16 hours, and then you won't start eating again until maybe noon. So you're giving your body 16 hours, and that works as well. That is for quicker weight reduction, then intermittent fasting works to get the pounds off. I just worked with a client not so long ago, and she really, her eating window was between 12 and 8, 12 noon and 8 p.m. at night. She got in 3 meals and the pounds came off for her. And that worked for her because she really didn't like to eat that much. She didn't want to think about, she just wanted to keep it simple. So we created a nutrition plan for her that included intermittent fasting. Now, and also the craze right now is whole food, plant-based, or vegan, or vegetarian, and people are like, okay, which is what and who is what? So vegetarians can eat anything except meats and seafood, but vegans, so if you're a vegetarian, you can load up on carbs, right? You can eat potatoes and all of these things. You're just not eating any meat or seafood. Now, if you're vegan, you strictly follow, in theory, a plant-based diet and avoid foods that come from animals. So if you're vegan, you're not eating anything with a face or a mother, right? And that includes even perhaps honey, because it comes from bees. Now, with being vegan, you see nowadays, there's vegan donuts, there's vegan everything that you can think of. So you can become vegan and not see any particular results on the scale because you've compensated and changed all of your regular food to vegan food, but it still doesn't give you if you're looking to reduce pounds, it doesn't do that. Now, if you are plant-based vegan, then you're eating mostly plants. And that is a great way to fuel your body with nutrients. So again, don't believe the hype with the whole vegan if you're still packing on lots of carbohydrates and lots of processed vegan food. And I want to talk a little bit about carbohydrates in a little bit. Let's go over the biggest mistakes that people make when it comes to their diet dungeon or trying to figure out what to do. The number one mistake is not fully understanding your relationship to food and failing to create a strategy accordingly. So again, if you are, and you know that you are, and sometimes you don't know that you are, have an emotional relationship to food, that's important because every diet, every protocol, keto, intermittent fasting, whatever, is not going to solve or change that reality. It is just putting a Band-Aid on a cycle. So I like to offer my community a wonderful, wonderful resource for emotional eating, because it's determining, well, are you an emotional eater, and then what do you do about it? So that is important to know, because as a nutritionist, I have so many people coming to me trying to solve the wrong problem. Not that you don't need a nutrition plan, not that you don't need guidance and support, but an emotional relationship with food requires a different level of expertise. All right, another big mistake that people make is keeping the exact same physical and mental environment. If you don't shape your environment will shape you. And that includes the people that are around you. So if you're wanting to have this transformation in your life, but everyone else, if you're eating, you know, salmon and broccoli and everybody else is eating buffalo chicken wings and french fries, very difficult for you to not want to dip your hand in their plate, but they're not asking you, can they dip their hand in your plate? So what I do is I only eat with people, because I don't have a lot of willpower. When you have buffalo wings or french fries in front of me, I'm going to ask for some. So I tend to surround myself with others that are eating as I do. So all of us have salmon and broccoli or chicken and broccoli or tofu or whatever we have, and nobody's tempted, but for the fact that we want to try something different to go outside of our food values, if you will. So again, when you embark on a change, if you just change and you think, if you don't take some time to mentally prepare and change your physical environment, it's very challenging to sustain. The other thing that I see is people failing to eat for nutritional value and cellular health. The problem is you don't see your cells. Well, you kind of do, because through your skin, through your eyes, through your nails, you can see if your body, how your body is doing. Your outer world in so many cases is a reflection of your inner world, but we don't think about ourselves. Like, am I eating for myself? We're always thinking about vanity purposes, but really, you need to take your cells into consideration, because these are the same cells that are fighting against illness and diseases, and you got to give them the nutrients that they need in order to do what you want them to do, which is to protect you. And that's what I wish that people would think about, is actually eating to live is super, super important. And then lastly, again, people are selecting a short-term solution for a long-term challenge. Short-term solution, only a Band-Aid. So let me share with you some insider secrets so that to help you, hopefully point you into a direction that may work. Again, I've been doing this for so many years and I've seen so many everything, and I've created protocols and menus and strategies for every kind of everything. But at the end of the day, I want to tell you what I know that works. And so trust me or not, but this is what I know that is effective, and here is why. Again, whenever you're doing something that is just a short term for a long-term solution, that may be a challenge. So I'd like to introduce what I call necessary nutrition 1-10-80-20. All right, so the number one is determine your relationship with food. Start there. Like, who are you? Who are you in this whole situation? That's important. Is it emotional in nature or no? Start with that. Number two is, and I'll expand on this in a little bit, I recommend shred 10 days out of every month. Now, what is that? That means for 10 days out of every month, you are doing a very, very specific protocol of eating super clean. And I'll come back to explaining that. But number one is to determine your relationship with food. The second secret, which I call the 10, is to shred 10 days out of every month. Every month. Make that a routine that 10 days out of every month that you are really, really focusing on your cells. Now, you do it for 10 days and you got 20 other days of the month, right? To do what? What are you going to do for the rest of the 20 days or 21 days, depending on the month? So I'll come to that. I'll come to that now. The other days, right? 80% of the time, right? You're going to discover how to balance your carbohydrates with other foods and nutrients. When you're talking about pounds, when you're balancing your carbohydrates, then you're able, everybody's so different in what their body can take in, depending on the amount of muscle you have, the amount of exercise you're doing. But for the very important for your body, how much, people always ask me, well, how many cookies can I eat before I can't button my pants? And that becomes really how I help my clients discover what their threshold is, so that you know what is appropriate for your body. My muscle mass, I have very tiny, tiny arms. and I don't have a lot of muscle mass, so I can't do as many carbohydrates as someone else could with more muscle. So I know how to balance out the carbohydrates, and I love to share with others how to do the same. So that is part of it, because the rest of the 20 days of the month, you are eating for nutritional value, which I love to share with people how to do, and then you are balancing your carbohydrates. Now, and I talked about eating from a cellular level because that is what keeps you healthy. The 20% is do whatever you want to do. Have a great old time. Eat your ice cream, your cheesecake, or whatever it is. Limited, right? But let's not forget we want to enjoy life. Food is great. There's parties and all of those things. But what's effective is if you schedule that. Like literally next month, because I've already had my fun for this month, I'm having some buffalo chicken wings or chicken something. I'm going to do it. So if you schedule in those fun foods, then you don't have this whole guilt thing because you know you're going to do it. You've made accommodations. What I like was to share with people is how to, okay, if you know you're going to go to a party, what do you do so that you won't, and you want to go to the party, it's a birthday party, you're going to eat cake and you know it, then what do you do the day before or the day after to help to keep your body in line? I love to share that. And you maybe want to know too, and I'll let you know how you can know. I'll let you know how, because I want to keep this to a certain amount of time. Let me look at the time. I better speed it up. There will always be difficulties when you improve your life, eliminate stuff, eliminate distractions, eliminate options, and eliminate people. And as I mentioned before, your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. So the other part of that is finding your tribe and creating your environment. So I broke it down to 1, 10, 80, 20. First, discover your relationship. 10 days out of every month, that's the 10 you're going to shred things and habits and foods and things that don't serve you. 80% of the month, you're just learning how to balance out your carbs. You're still going to have them. And 20%, you eat what you want to eat. Sounds fair? Success, how to ensure goals stick. And I'm going a little faster because I see my time is running low. You want to make a real commitment. And when you make a real commitment, that means you're carving out time and in some cases, money. Having a plan, step by step, day by day, 1, 2, 3. Love to help people with that. And your why. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Accountability is always useful when you have somebody checking on you and seeing how you're doing. And then I've said this many times, your surroundings must change. That is how to ensure your goals stick. You heard me mention shredding 10 days out of the month. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about that. It is a protocol that I wholeheartedly recommend where you shred the foods and habits that are not serving you and focus on flooding your body with whole food nutrition for 10 days every month. And what that does is it helps to get all the salts and toxins and things out of your body. And it's a protocol that you continue to do. And it's just amazing what it does for the body. Now, how it works is during those 10 days, you're eliminating gluten. Why? Because gluten is the protein found in wheat. And because of the way that it's brought to us today, it, for many, has a tendency to tamper with and aggravate the digestive system, but you wouldn't know that unless you took it out of your diet for a little bit, right? So for 10 days, we're eliminating, that is breads, pastas, and so forth. Dairy, because for some, dairy creates an allergen effect or maybe causes yeast or other things that go on in the digestive system. We're taking that out for 10 days. Caffeine, now some people, when I say this, that makes them very scared. And so if you drink 10 cups of coffee every day, then I would say reduce it to 5 or dilute it with decaf, because I understand that can give people a headache. Alcohol, you can do anything for 10 days. Unless you are a full-on alcoholic, I think you can handle 10 days. I hope you can handle. Processed foods, that's self-explanatory. Sugar, woo! But the good news is when I will be asking you to add in your diet, you will be able to get natural sugars. So that's good. You're taking out refined and unnatural sugars. And then we're asking you during those 10 days to stop eating after 6:30 or 7 p.m. because that allows your digestive system to do what it's designed to do. right? You're going to add in, so you've taken all those things out, and you're going to add in exercise 3 to 4 days a week because it's good for you. You're going to add in enough water so that your urine is clear, which is good for you. And it takes out the confusion. Do you do a gallon? Do I do a liter? How many? Till your urine is clear. You're going to sleep 7 to 8 hours. Whoa, that's important. And you're going to replace 1 or 2 meals per day with complete. Now, what is complete? Complete is a meal replacement that I recommend that is completely full of fiber and nutrients and everything that your body needs to thrive. So I would ask you to replace 1 to 2 of your meals every day with complete. And then you're going to really, really flood your body with raw fruits and vegetables in a plant powder because it's super effective and it has raw enzymes. And you do that for 10 days every month. And we have a community of shredders. So we're together every month, and we do it through, we use a Facebook group, but we also use a texting platform to hold each other accountable. And it's really fun because month after month, we're like, where's Shayla and where's Kathy? And we look for you. And it is that community that keeps you strong in your tribe. So the Shred 10 has a tribe. And then as a shredder, what do you receive? Well, first of all, you get your guide because I just mentioned it and you're like, okay, well, what do I do? So there's a 10-day shred menu and guidelines for those 10 days. After the 10 days, and this is very, very specific to Necessary Nutrition, you're going to receive a 4-week meal plan to use after the Shred 10 because now you've shredded for 10 days and now you need some guidance after that. So that is the meal plan that is going to help you balance your carbohydrates and all of the nutrients for the rest of the month. And then you will get a digital recipe book, lots of ideas, as well as our accountability and support group. And then lastly, as a bonus, as I mentioned to you, we throw in the emotional binge eating resource because so many people need that to explore that side of their lives. So what do you need to participate? Because I know you're thinking, oh my goodness, this sounds so good. How do I get in on this, right? And it's time sensitive because we shred the 10 days out of every month. And so you got to be ready to do that. The first thing you need to do to participate is you need to have a commitment to yourself. You must. That is your why. And then second, a minimum of $36 to get started. Yep, a minimum of $36 to get started, which is, I would say, completely affordable, completely available, and there's no excuses, right? So we've made it so that it fits everybody. You get a lot. Now, it says a minimum of $36 to get started because there's other options, right? Depending on what's best for you. But all things being equal, you can get started for a minimum of $36. So now, what do you expect from the shred, or if you're shredding with us as a team? As I mentioned, you're going to get all of the support and the guidance. And because I am a nutritionist, you certainly get to reach out to me. I have people asking me questions. Well, should I take probiotics? And what about this? And what do you think about this food? I am there as a resource for my shred community because I want you to have what you need. And so because of that, I feel like it's a valuable resource that you're getting a lot of access to a lot. And we have also a number of other health coaches and leaders that are a part of our shred community. From your body standpoint, generally speaking, you're going to see pounds come off of the scale because when you're removing things that don't serve you and you're flooding your body with what does, you're going to see pounds come off the scale, and you can see a variety of things happen in your physical body. So because I shred every single month, my nails are strong, my teeth, gums don't bleed, my hair is growing, my allergies in my eyes are not red. I mean, I have a whole long list of things that have happened to me in addition to my stomach feeling flatter and having more energy and just having an overall sense of well-being. What will happen to you? I don't know, because your body knows what to do specifically with the nutrients, but what if? I always say to people, what if? What if this is what you need? I would love to at least try, give yourself that honor to shred with us. And I believe you will continue to do that. So if you want more information about the shred, and it is exactly time for us to end, then the person that invited you here, contact them and let them know that you want to get more information on Shred 10, and we will certainly do that for you. All right, so again, I want to thank you for being here. I also want to open it up for any questions that you may have. I am recording this. I'm going to stop the recording, but